Hello everyone, it's Raza Von Werder, aka Kelly Everts, and I am continuing my biography. I would like to deviate from telling my personal, private life story when I was a child and jump into something spiritual. It's also part of my life, but a different part of my life when I became more mature. And I published a book about one experience. It's called The Beatific Vision. And Beatific Vision, Seeing God Face to Face, it says by Guru Raza Von Werder. I call myself a guru because I thought of many titles for myself, like minister, reverend, priestess, and finally I decided guru was the best one for me to cover all the things that I am, the last religion that I did my discipline and practice and study of, the most recent, when I more or less stopped my sadhanas or my disciplines, was yoga, and I entered into non-duality. Now this is about my experience of seeing God face to face, and you can find it on Amazon. I'm not trying to sell books. I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm not trying to gather donations. I'm not trying to get you to do anything except be helped, enlightened, illuminated, inspired, ennobled by some of the things that I lived through that might apply to you and that you might want to try. There's thousands of religions out there, so mine is one of them, one way, or it's quite a common way. It's nothing unusual or amazing, really. It's, well, anyway, when I get done with this, I also saw something that shocked me on YouTube. Since I've been doing these YouTube videos, I've been also watching a lot of YouTube videos on similar subjects to my subjects, and it's about spirituality, it's about abuse, it's about prayer, it's about how to come closer to God, it's about saints, angels, and I saw something about a lady who is a wonderful angel, gifted with the angelic vision, and she can actually physically see angels. And I was watching in a rapture quite a few of her videos and her accounts of her testimonies, and it was quite wonderful. And then someone asked her about hell, and she said the angels have not shown her hell, and so she doesn't think there is a hell because God is love. And I was stunned, absolutely stunned. And then after that, someone asked her about purgatory, and she said she didn't believe in purgatory because the angels had never shown her purgatory. And again, I was stunned, and I was shocked and stunned. She's a Catholic, by the way. And she said that when she got done speaking about there is no purgatory one time, a priest, a Catholic priest, came up to her and he said to her, "You are right. The only reason they used to preach purgatory is because they wanted to collect money for indulgences." Now, an indulgence is when, in the old days, I think you had to buy prayer cards or some paraphernalia, you had to say prayers. And because you did these prayers and you bought this or you gave a donation, some of your time in purgatory was removed. Well, that was way, way, hundreds of years ago. You know, that's the medieval days. They haven't done that since when I was a child. It was hundreds of years before that that they did that. this priest that went up to her and said that, he was not a real priest. He was a demon, or else he was a Protestant minister dressed like a Catholic priest. Because, you know, Protestants, sometimes they wear a collar, like a black collar with a white in the middle. So he might have been a Protestant minister because Protestants don't believe in purgatory. So he said what the Protestants believe. But if he was a Catholic priest, then he was 100% against the teachings of the Catholic Church, because hell is an article of our faith. It's part of Catholicism. And purgatory is also, well, I said, no, I'm talking about purgatory now. Okay, purgatory is believed by the Catholic Church, and so is hell, both. And so this lady who sees angels, you can imagine, my infatuation with her doctrine and her visions diminished quite a bit, and my admiration for her fell lower, whereas my admiration had been sky high. Suddenly my admiration went low, and when people ask her how they can see angels, she doesn't have a clue. She was born with this ability from the time she can remember, and she takes it for granted, but she doesn't know anything else, and she can't read, so she doesn't study. But there are other ways to study besides reading books. I had become half blind at one point in my life from reading so much. I bought audio tapes and videotapes from great ministers and great visionaries and great teachers and so on, and I studied them for years until I regained my vision through an operation. My vision to read, you know, but my eyes were, the only way I can describe them is I was half blind. I was afraid that soon I would not be able to drive anymore. So at some point, I'm also going to talk about this. What will hell be like by, oh boy, I knew his name and I forgot his name. Oh yes, here we go. Saint Alphonsus Liguori. Here we go. Saint Alphonsus Liguori. What will hell be like? What will hell be like? And I'm going to do some excerpts from him because he's teaching it much better than I can describe it. And yes, I have seen hell in vision, and I can give you those as well. But he gives the doctrine of why there has to be a hell, why there is a hell. But now I'm going to talk about seeing God face to face, which I have seen in my human life without dying. Now, one man took issue with that. He got very angry at me on the internet when I wrote about seeing God face to face. And he said to me, oh, Moses couldn't see God face to face, see God as he was, but you could. Yeah, right. You know. And I said, yes, that's right. And I'm not responsible for what Moses could or could not do. I can only tell you what I did and what God did. You follow me? So if you think that just because Moses couldn't do it means no one else can do it, you're wrong. Other people have seen God face to face, at least that I know of. One saint that I'm quite convinced did see God face to face was, she should be canonized, but the men refused to canonize her. It's all men, right, running the Catholic Church. The men are so jealous of her, they refuse to canonize her. So they call her Venerable Mary of Agreda. She lived in the 1600s. So let me just give a glimpse of this book, The Beatific Vision, Seeing God Face to Face by me. I go, the first time was February 13, 1982, sleeping on the floor of my Brooklyn apartment. I feel myself wakening and going to the typewriter, reading something. But soon after that, I am going to a balcony that does not exist in real life. To my shock and wonder, I am not in Brooklyn. This is, mind you, I saw God face to face twice. This was the prelude, the preliminary vision. There was a more comprehensive vision after that. But this is the first vision. I am in the mountains. To prove I am here. I touch snow. My senses are here. This is not a dream. The snow is cold and wet. This is another world. There are mountains all around, golden colors, and below me is a chasm. There is a gorge way below. Fast water runs through. I am in perfect wonder. I see everywhere but to the left. Like a revelation, I long to see left. Slowly I turn my neck left. But before the vision opens, I snap back to my body on the floor and I am awake. A feeling of profound ecstasy pervades me. I have seen heaven. The world was nothing compared to this. What is important is this was not a dream or not even what I call a vision. I was actually there in bilocation. And I believe that when we go to the other side, whether it be heaven, purgatory, or hell, we will sense with our physical senses, physical feelings and sensations through the inner senses. To be continued.